Hello to everyone. This presentation is the market trends in automotive perception from insect-like to human-like intelligence. I am Pierre Cambou from Yole Development. Let's remove the hurdles to ADAS. So the goal in automotive today is to reach autonomy. And the critical question is when, where, and how. I'm here quoting Bruno Maisonnier, the father of the Now robots, now CEO of Another Brain, a nomorphic company. The Fly has the CPU of a toaster, nonetheless it can do quite a lot. And this is like the specification of a Fly. Very low pixel count, 25K eyes or pixelated eyes, and almost zero computing power. And still can reach this flower on the right. So we are far from achieving such level of autonomy for current ADAS systems, and we are very far from human-like perception. So how do we get there? So up to now, we had one help. So this was the Moore's law. So I know this conference is discussing the end of Moore's law, but still, until today, the processing power per dollar, so if we keep the dollar constant, was doubling every 18 months. So that was a great help for improving performance of any system, especially in automotive. But the economics is becoming a little bit difficult. So when everybody was using 200 millimeter nodes between 315 nanometer and 130 nanometer, everybody could afford. Now with 300 millimeter nodes, wafers, so nodes between 90 and 14 nanometer, then there is far less people able to process. And with the latest nodes, 10 to 7 nanometer, if you are not Intel, Samsung, and TSMC, you cannot process. So it becomes economically difficult to access technology. And despite the Moore's law was able to support the growth of the market and the technology in the semiconductor space, for sure, now it's challenged. It's challenged on the technology standpoint, but also the economy. So what I want to achieve here with this presentation is perception. Perception is sustained by sensors such as cameras, and cameras should follow some kind of more than Moore law. And try to see if they could follow some kind of law and know in order to understand when that could occur, this autonomy features in ADAS. So automotive was definitely one of the first sensing market for cameras and image sensors. And it is a combination of computing chips with cameras that gave birth to ADAS. But it's not the only market. There is also robotic vehicle applications, which is the real autonomous driving so far. So let's define a little bit those two applications, two markets today. So one is ADAS vehicle, the everyday vehicle, and so that is gradually moving from level 1 to level 5, complete autonomy. And then on the right, you have the robotic vehicle that are retrofits. So companies like Waymo, Baidu, Lyft are acquiring regular cars and putting $100 to $200K retrofit equipment on top of it to bring them to autonomy. And it's important to see what is the configuration in terms of sensing or cameras and computing. and see if they follow the Moore's law or some more than Moore law. Here is a specification on the camera side. So this is numbers from 2018. I will adjust. So 23 million camera for ADAS. Okay, the forward-looking camera, and 94 million cars were produced at that time. Now we are in the range of 35 million cameras among 87 million cars. So roughly 1/3 of cars are now fitted with the technology, and it's a 1.3 megapixel most of the time from Onsemi, or it could be from OmniVision also. On the right, you have the specification of a typical robotic vehicle sensor camera, so 5 megapixel with a 3.5 micron size, and a 2/3 of an inch global shutter. So that would be typically an industrial grade camera from Sony with a Sony sensor, or with a Onsemi conductor sensor. So the players are slightly different, and the specification very different. Now let's look at the specification we find for autonomy on the computation side. So this graph is the performance of the computing chip in tera operation per second in the x-axis, and on the y is the efficiency, like the power dissipation in watts. So we've seen that in the past, in the year 2014, we had Intel IQ3, for example, with 0.3 tera operation per second, and it was really the dominant player in the ADAS. With an efficiency of 0.1 TOPS per watt. So you have here pictures of Toshiba Visconti, the competitor, but also Ambarella and TI, NXP. So this was for level 1, 2. And then more recently, new chips were introduced, such as the Intel IQ4 for level 2, 2+. And so they have improved the technology node, and now this is a 3 tera operation per second chip with an efficiency of 1 TOPS per watt. So this is basically the technology performance in 2018. And at that time, that's when we saw the first robotic vehicle, and Google was probably using some kind of TPU or some chip in the 100 tera operation per second. So this is on the upper right corner, and using 4 of them, so probably more in the range of 200, 300 tera operation per second. So the goal of the industry right now is to move toward the 10 TOPS per watt, so move on in the green area. And ultimately, the human brain is 1,000 peta operation per second, just using 20 watt. So if we wait for the Moore's law to act, it's going to be a long time. So now let's combine the two. Let's combine processing power. So it's the same x-axis on the bottom, and then on the left is the sensor. So it's the data rate. So number of pixels times the dynamics times the frame rate. So due to Moore's law, what we see so far is that Mobileye has been able to improve on the processing power times 100 between the IQ3 and the IQ5. More than that, actually. But at the same time, was only able to process the data from 1 to 3 camera, between IQ3 and IQ4, and then moving to the range of 10 cameras, or I think it's 12 camera on the configuration of the IQ5 autonomous car. If we see Waymo, I think it's the third generation was using 8 long-range camera, and then 14 long-range camera on the fourth. So that's also the two plots we believe. So this is estimates. They don't disclose fully what they are doing. So the big takeaway is that we observe that when we have 100 times the processing power, only 10 times more data are being processed. So the Moore's-Moore law is twice slower than the Moore law, apparently. From 10 years of marketing analysis, then we can say the Moore's-Moore law, computing power requirement increases with the square of data. And this is the big understanding that we have so far. So current autonomous driving systems design will be heavily limited by the ability to increase processing power. This is the big insight. And therefore, we really need to increase performance on the computing side, definitely, and there will be a high demand for that, either using architecture, memory, or new kind of transistors such as the KFET and new nodes. Then also on the sensing performance side, there will be a pull, but much slower. Everybody coming to me asking, so when are we going to move from 1 mega to 2 mega, and when are we increasing from 120 dB to 140 dB? It's going to be slower than the Moore's law, and twice slower. Then what we can think is that this will create tension in the market, tension for some kind of disruption. So new sensing and computing approaches are in high demand, improving both quality and quantity of data that is processed. So we might go toward a diversification using LiDAR, thermal, gated imaging, SWIR. And this is what I tried to picture here in this graph. So it's kind of okay. On the top you have it's the innovation scenario. So on the top is the computing. So either we go toward more of the same computing, or on the right bring new approaches to computing, approaches that would be more efficient. On the bottom, either we go toward more of the same sensor, add more cameras, for example, or bring in new sensors such as LiDAR, thermal, etc. So what we've seen so far is that the ADAS world is just adding more cameras so far. And you all know the position of Tesla, for example. And if this innovation scenario will move along the Moore's law, if you still believe in the Moore's law. And so today we are in the range of 3 TOPS, moving toward 25 TOPS, not implemented in high volume before 25. And so if we want to reach some kind of autonomy, and we have defined autonomy in the range of several hundred TOPS, maybe the peta-ops, then you will have to wait 2032 or even 2040. Now, if we look at robotics, the robotic vehicles, the autonomous vehicles of today, what kind of scenario are they using? So it's a combination. They already have a very high computing power, and it's difficult for them to increase. But they already start to use a diversity of sensors. So we can think of the LiDAR, but also thermal cameras, and probably they will add more, just to increase the performance, the overall performance of the system, not waiting for the Moore's law to act. But we can see that the system is in tension. So there could be some other solution, some other disruptive approach. And that would be the combination of bringing new sensors and new computing approaches. And I'm thinking neuromorphics or or quantum computing that could help. So let's wrap up. So in this presentation, I tried to answer the question how to reach autonomy, when, where, and how. So far, there are two paths. One is the regular ADAS automotive, and the other path is robotic vehicles. Both paths so far have been following a newly defined Moore-Than-Moore law. So the computing power requirement evolves with the square of the data, which is really bad news, actually. So the consequence is that innovation scenario today is really waiting for the Moore's law, especially in automotive, using same sensor, same computing approach. The other innovation scenario is that we can use new sensing technologies such as LiDAR, thermal infrared, time-gating shortwave infrared, knowing the computing power that is available. And this approach today is mainly used by the autonomous driving robotic vehicle camp. And so, but that could also in the future being used by for automotive L2++ and eventually level 3. So my point, the end idea, the final idea is that disruption could occur, and that would be the third path, bringing new kind of emerging technologies, both in sensing and in computing, more efficient approaches, and that could be changing the state of the industry, and I'm thinking neuromorphics and quantum technology. So I thank you very much for listening to this presentation, and I'm ready to answer the questions.